Hey guys, it's Anna from Bright Lane Gardens, and today we are finally harvesting our bee balm seeds. Specifically, we're harvesting our bee balm or wild bergamot that is the bright red flower, not the light purple. Now, a couple weeks ago, I went out and I harvested the actual seed heads from the plants. The key is you want to make sure that the flower petals have completely died back and that the center of the flower is crispy and crunchy to the touch. That's when you know that it's okay to go ahead and harvest your seed heads. You'll harvest your seed heads about 6 inches down the stem from the actual flower head itself. Then you'll want to place those upside down into a container and allow them to dry out for up to 3 weeks. I harvested these seed heads back in early September. We're towards the end of the month now, so they've had about 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks to dry out, and they're very light, crunchy, and crispy to the touch. So I know that if these guys do have any seeds to offer, they'll be able to drop them because the seed head is completely dried out. Now, a word of warning, at least for me, I think that bee balm is one of the trickier flowers to collect seeds from. My first few years that I did it, I was really discouraged and I felt like I was doing something wrong. But in reality, these seed heads just don't offer a ton of seeds every year. So I harvested about 15 seed heads, and I'm really curious to see how many seeds we can get out of these 15 seed heads. This guy here is already kind of falling out, so I'm going to show you him first. These plants that I harvested, they've been in the ground for 2.5 seasons. So this is actually finishing out their 3rd season technically. It's a pretty mature grouping of plants, but even out of these, it's unlikely that I'm going to get a ton of seeds. So every seed that falls out of this head is precious to me, and I want to make sure that I'm able to catch it. That's the reason that I harvest these seed heads upside down and place them in a container, because there's already seeds that are starting to fall off these heads, and they're going to gather in the bottom of this container here. The correct method for harvesting your seeds is going to be to tip your seed head upside down and gently flick it or roll it to try to get some of the seeds out. There's a lot of other debris in here, so with my fingers, I'm going to gently just try to pull out some of the larger leaves, trying really hard not to pull out those itty bitty seeds as well. Bee balm seeds are very, very tiny and difficult to see. And with each plant only producing a few of them, it can be really hard to get a successful harvest if you're not paying careful attention to where your seeds are. These seeds are really hard to see with the camera, but ultimately, this little itty bitty tan to dark brown colored seed is what you're looking for. You can try to blow out some of the larger debris. Just know that these seeds are really lightweight, and there is, of course, the risk of blowing out the seeds themselves. A kitchen strainer can also be a really helpful tool to help you eliminate the chaff and other debris from the seeds. This is a handful of seeds that came off from just 3 flower heads. So as you can imagine, it takes quite a few mature seed heads to make up an entire batch of seeds. Once you've collected your seeds, it's of course time to store them. I have this handy dandy little seed storage container, but anything will do as long as it's a moisture barrier and can be placed in a dark location. This offers blackout conditions for my seeds. And it also has these little plastic containers that make sure that no moisture can get to my seeds. If you have any leftover medication containers, wash them thoroughly, but those make really great seed storage solutions as well, as long as you can store them out of the sunlight. I'm hesitant to even touch these seeds most of the time because they are so small and so hard to harvest. So I usually just like to gently tap them into my container here. We're of course going to go ahead and label these because there are a ton of native seeds that are itty bitty and hard to identify, just like these bee balm seeds are. Don't forget to add the year that you collected your bee balm seeds. Typically, if properly stored, these seeds will be viable for 5 years or more, but the viability does tend to go down year by year. So if you're hoping to get the best yield out of the seeds that you've collected, plan on planting them next year. Once you have your container labeled, you can go ahead and place that in storage and your seeds will be good to go for next year. One thing to note, bee balm seeds, like many other native species, do require a cold stratification period. If you aren't familiar with cold stratification, this concept might sound a little intimidating, but trust me, there's a really easy way that you can mimic cold stratification from the comfort of your own kitchen. Check out my video on cold stratifying native seeds artificially in your refrigerator. I'll link it in the description below, and it's also tagged in the upper corner of this video. Another thing to note, I harvested only about 15 heads out of probably 40 that I had in the patch that I was working with. This is because I want that patch to continue to spread and fill in the area that I have it planted. So make sure that you're not harvesting all of your seed heads if you want to continue to grow your existing patch of bee balm before you harvest your seed heads. Make sure you only harvest about 1/3 of the heads to ensure that you're leaving plenty of seeds left over so that that patch can continue to grow. Make sure that you harvest your seed heads intermittently so that you don't have one half of your patch spreading faster than the other half. Bee balm is an amazing addition to have in your backyard. It's so beneficial to our local pollinators and insects. Our birds also love it, and it's deer resistant because it tastes terrible to them. While you're harvesting your seeds, you'll notice this really nice lavender floral scent coming from the seed head. That is the exact reason that the deer can't stand to eat it. So this type of plant is an awesome addition. It makes total sense to collect these seeds and start these patches in other areas of your yard as well. If you have any questions for me on my seed collection process for wild bergamot or bee balm or any of my other native plants, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments section below. We have more seed collection videos coming up as the fall continues, and this winter we're starting a special series on landscape design catered directly to native plants so that next spring when you're ready to plant your garden, you'll be able to have a custom design in mind. Even though summer has ended, we have so many exciting videos coming up this winter to prep you for the planting season next spring. Make sure you subscribe and set up your alerts so that you know when the next video drops. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in with us today, and I sure hope to catch you next time. Bye-bye.